comments. I'm just looking around. We have Robin.
Yes. So what I'm hearing is that either it's SEPA or we don't move forward on track. And right now we're talking about an initial selection of the first 16. And I'm hearing concerns about capacity on managing 16 transactions over a calendar year. And I'm hearing that we don't have any best practices for supporting residents in rehab and residential loans. We have the rehab loan program that is run with Sarah Flax and whomever else in staff. So there are some best practices. But aside from that, I'm hearing that we don't have the capacity, and either we move forward with SEPA or we have who knows when we implement the program. And so back to the residents that we're hearing from, I appreciate, some may have said they would appreciate the help, but more of what I'm hearing are residents that are seniors that are hopeful to be among the first selected, that have already identified what work they plan to do and what black contractor in town they would like to use. So I'm still back to, why do we have to have this exclusive agreement? Why can't SEPA be available if someone chooses to use them as they are? That's what they do as this sort of housing agency. And then you mentioned that, the color of the organization doesn't matter. You're concerned about the quality of work, as we are all concerned about the service performed to our community. But I mean, I think in saying that, you're suggesting that there is not potentially a Black organization, a historically Black organization, or even another in town that is competent to do the same scope of work. Dearborn Realtors, from the day I made the introduction, showed up in town. They're the nation's longest and oldest real estate trade association that supports Black community. They are Black-led. They produced the Wealth Day. There's Community Partners for Affordable Housing. There are other organizations local in town. So just understanding why I'm hearing you say that's who you have the relationship with, but we have to model everything that we do. And if we have an opportunity to keep a reparations fund directed by the Black community, as we had those info sessions in 2019 that informed housing, that's how we got here. If we have an opportunity to give redress, those Black recipients use Black contractors, those funds be held in a Black institution, there's a real opportunity to do something special here and not ordinary business as it relates to who you're comfortable doing business with. So I'm just asking that we don't have an exclusive agreement, that there is a requirement that anything has to go through SEPA, and that we consider if the funds have to be held in escrow someplace other than the City of Evanston, who that might be. And I don't see why that would have to hold up a selection in 1 week and preparing for disbursement for what amounts to 16 checks over a calendar year. I would argue that we have the capacity in-house to manage the program until we have whatever our next steps are.
So who's going to manage the program? Can I just say, sure. I just be clear that this is not 16 checks. And it's not, and I want to also be clear that it's just, I think people are stuck on the home the SEPA managed and not the home managed process, because the home managed process is exactly what you're asking for. SEPA is only cutting the check. They're not managing the process. They are the ones dispersing the funds and making sure that everything has been completed, so that there's costs that are associated with, internal permitting and so forth, that all those things that we have to do internally, that things are on time, that the process is done smoothly, and that we can hopefully be able to move this forward. The MOU, which is, when you say exclusive, it's an MOU for the first 16. So we're all testing this out. And if it works well, then there is going to have to be conversations beyond this. SEPA, like I said, has a relationship with the organization, has a relationship with Evanston, has done construction management projects, which is a huge component of this work, as well as be able to provide assistance with first-time home buyers or home buyers with assistance with closing. And so they check all the boxes. And again, looking 6 months ago, I was looking at how do we move this forward implementation. As you all know, I myself will not be here in 2 weeks. So it's very important that we have in place a process that staff who are going to continue in this organization can take and move forward and be able to implement it and be done in a smooth, and transition will happen in a way that the organization does not have to take a step back due to my absence. And so it has been 6 months that we've worked on this. It has not been 6 weeks. And so I just want to be mindful. That is why I'm saying, if you don't move forward, it's going to be a few more months down the road before something is probably finalized, because it took us this long to get all the pieces in order. And
okay, I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond to that. So no, I'm going to respond. Peter, we have to have a meeting. We have to have a dialogue. I understand body needs to leave.
You did this before, and I'll ask that Kimberly mute you. Be patient and listen. That's all I'm asking. We had the same conversation at the last meeting. And the same thing with Mr. Burns.
If we don't need to participate, why are we here? I'm trying to have a dialogue.
Okay. Kimberly, when you're finished with your comments, and then we'll go back around the room. I'm respectfully asking for decorum. You had the floor. Kimberly,
Peter, she was done talking. I don't understand what you're doing right now.
Were you finished?
Yeah.
Thank you. So my response before you get started is, we want to be mindful of the time.